The online sensation that's Hello Kitty Island Adventure is officially here for PC and Switch. But is it the right game for you? Grab that comfy cozy drink and let's get into it. Welcome to the first Jade Score review video of the year. Today we're jumping into the world of Hello Kitty and reviewing the latest PC and Switch release of Hello Kitty Island Adventure that first made its appearance in 2023 over on Apple Arcade and just launched on PC and Switch. We'll be looking at these 10 specific categories as usual and then give each one a number score between 1 and 10, totaling the overall Jade score at the end of the video, so stay tuned. But before we do, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell to get notified of all of my future cozy gaming content. And be sure to follow me over on Twitch for some more cozy chaos where I stream alongside YouTube. Alrighty, now on to the video. Get ready to embark on a cozy open world adventure with Hello Kitty and friends. Befriend beloved characters as you explore and restore a mysterious island, solve ancient puzzles, cook delicious dishes, customize yourself and your cabins, and so much more. The first thing that pops out at you is the game's vibrant colors and adorable characters that are undeniably charming. It's clear that a lot of effort went into creating a unique and immersive game world. The entire game screams Animal Crossing and Fae Farm aesthetics, giving it that overall laid-back, cute, and cozy atmosphere that immediately puts my brain in a very happy place. You're first introduced into the game by flying in an airplane with multiple characters on your way to this mysterious theme park island that Hello Kitty and My Melody were invited to run shops in and help maintain, along with other characters that you'll see have other shops. Your job is to help restore the entire island and revitalize the theme park while uncovering all sorts of mysterious things like why is it run down and why are there some interesting inhabitants already on the island. The dialogue with characters can become a bit repetitive from time to time, especially if you keep spam talking to them, and could use some improvement, but it's not so bad. I would like to see it more like Animal Crossing characters that have a pool of varied dialogue depending on their personality types. Aside from the individual character dialogues, the story itself is a cute story that doesn't seem very complicated and provides a good amount of mystery, prompting you to want to progress even more and find out what's going on. Considering the targeted demographic of a younger audience in this game, I feel that the storytelling is just right. You also don't need to know anything about Hello Kitty's lore or any fandom facts. You can still jump into this game having absolutely zero knowledge of who all these characters are. This game introduces you to these characters beautifully so you don't feel lost in their lore, but at the same time they still bring in tons of nostalgia for those that are very aware of their stories, providing a perfect balance between both types of players. The game is currently available on 3 different platforms: Switch, PC, and Apple Arcade, and is targeted to come out to PlayStation in the future. It originally released exclusively for Apple Arcade back in 2023 and just launched on PC and Switch this year. Each platform presents different performance results. After testing it out on each platform, I found the best performance and quality came from PC. However, it still runs pretty well on other platforms. The minimum requirements for PC are pretty low, as you can see here, so most up-to-date PCs should be able to run it just fine. I never experienced any lagging or frame drops while playing on PC, and it felt extremely smooth and polished. As for the Switch, the loading time at the beginning and between areas was substantially different and a lot longer. The game doesn't feel as smooth and polished as it does on PC, and visually looks a lot choppier. I experienced a bit of lagging, but not enough to make it unplayable though. It still runs decent on the Switch. Now when it comes to Apple Arcade, I was very shocked to see that it ran better than the Switch. The loading times on Apple Arcade were closer to what I experienced on PC. However, I couldn't handle the touchscreen and quickly resolved that by connecting a Bluetooth controller and played it as I would on a PC, which made it 10 times better. If I had the choice between the 3 platforms, PC is the winner for me. Apple Arcade comes in second, and Switch last place. Now, if you're interested in seeing a side-by-side comparison of all the platforms and a more detailed video, let me know in the comments below. As for the in-game music, it's extremely cozy and very enjoyable. Each region has its own assigned music track to give you a better feel for your environment, which I feel was perfectly executed. I found it beyond soothing, providing an extremely cozy gaming experience. When it comes to the sound effects, I did find that some of the alerts and effects were a bit aggressive at times and may be better suited at lower levels if you're not a fan of loud effects or you're just sensitive to them. I personally enjoyed all the sounds though and found every aspect of it to be just right for my taste. The game offers a variety of different features, including photography, multiplayer, and character creation. However, it lacks some customizable settings in the graphics, audio, and accessibility department. You have a few gameplay options like auto-tracking quests, instant dialogue, achievement notifications, and toggling the guiding light on and off. There are moments in the game that make you visually go back and forth from awkward angles, which can cause some motion sickness and headaches in some players, yet there are no anti-sickness features available. I'm one of those extremely prone to motion sickness in games, but I will admit it's not too bad with this one in comparison to other games that we've played here that feature a 360 camera angle. In this game, you have a fixed camera angle rather than a normal angle. A lot of times, a field of view option helps with motion sickness, but sadly, we aren't able to adjust our field of view. Personally, it's not a deal breaker in this case for me, as I haven't experienced many issues with it, but those that are very sensitive to this, please be aware it is possible for motion sickness. The character creation stands out nicely here, giving you the opportunity to choose from 6 different animal species that each have different body styles and designs available. You also have a variety of color palettes to choose from at the start and end up earning more palettes as rewards throughout gameplay progression. You can also change your character designs and species at any point in-game using a mirror. Overall, it's a pretty nice character creation. The in-game map is a pretty standard map that allows you to see where all the NPCs and multiplayer friends are at any given moment. You're able to track character locations, whether they've been gifted or not, flower patches, cooking and crafting stations, and active cabins, as well as your fast travel locations. Each region has several mailboxes that act as a very handy fast travel option, which is greatly appreciated considering how many regions there are. As for the in-game menu or the journal, you have quite a few options here to view, such as your quests, friendship levels, visitors, daily rewards, achievements, collections, multiplayer, in-game mail, and the options to save your game and access the game settings. Did I also mention you have unlimited inventory space? That's right, no need to organize an extensive storage system or upgrade any of your bags. Overall, the features are pretty simple and to the point. The only thing I personally would like to see here is a list of friends that you have actively already participated with in multiplayer to keep track of their friendship levels. We already have a friendship tracker for NPCs, so it would make sense to include players that we have played with in this category. Which leads me into our next topic, multiplayer. I was pleasantly surprised to see how unique and enjoyable multiplayer is. I honestly wasn't expecting there to be much to do in multiplayer, kind of like Animal Crossing. Boy, was I wrong. It does have its pros and cons though. First, you can only have one player at a time visiting your island. Yep, that's right. Only one. Second, it's not cross-platform, so if you're playing on PC, only other PC players can visit you. Switch players cannot visit PC players or Apple Arcade players and vice versa. Same goes with cross-platform saves. You cannot access your Switch save from PC and vice versa. Also, unless you've leveled your friendship with your friend to unlock shared resources, if your friend collects all the spawnables on your island before you, it now belongs to them, unless they trade them back to you. You'll have to wait until the next day for your items to reset before you can gather again, so keep in mind when inviting people to your island that you don't trust. There's also no in-game chat, so you won't be able to communicate with friends unless you're using a third-party service like Discord. Now, what I absolutely love about multiplayer is the friendship leveling system they give you, much like the leveling system that you have with the NPCs. Each visitor you have goes on a friendship leveling adventure with you, where you are both tasked to complete specific quests around the island in order to raise your friendship and earn exclusive rewards that are only available in multiplayer, including friendship beads. The more levels you complete with friends, the more friendship beads you can earn, which then you can turn into Karopi for some rewards. Friendship level progression is tied to friends rather than islands. So if I'm visiting a friend and working on quests on their island, but then we jump over to my island, we'll still have the same progress as we had on theirs. Quests also reset after a specific amount of time, so if you end up coming across a quest that you can't complete, new tasks will refresh the next real-life day. However, that's not always a good thing, because when you're in the zone with a friend and you're hit with a task that's just impossible to complete, like taking a selfie with a specific item of clothing one or both of you don't have, you get stuck at the friendship level until a new task refreshes the next day, kind of killing the fun for both you and your friend. It's not a deal breaker, but it is a little disappointing. You can even invite your friend to have their own visitor cabin assigned to them where you can have them decorate to their heart's content. Did I also mention you can unlock the ability to trade clothing and furniture with your friends? Also, you can visit each other's shops to see what clothing and furniture are being sold that you may not have on your island. Items aren't exclusive to one person, so if you buy a bookshelf at your friend's island, your friend can still buy that same bookshelf. Overall, multiplayer is an amazing feature, but it does have room for improvement. I personally would love to see multiple friends come over, at least 4. Now, I will be setting up a looking for items and group section in my Discord to help players connect with others on all platforms, so be sure you head on over and join my Discord and keep an eye out for that. The link is in the description below. Now, going into gameplay mechanics, there are quite a few, such as fishing, mining, crafting, cooking, diving, farming, puzzles, bug catching, questing, and friendship building. A lot more than I could ever expect from a game that started out as a mobile game. Now, starting off, we do have a stamina mechanic, but it's not what you may be thinking. Not every task we do is going to require stamina, nor will you have to eat gobs of food to keep your stamina up. We have a stamina wheel that will be drained on some activities such as climbing and diving. You can upgrade your stamina meter permanently as you progress in the game, making climbing and diving a lot easier as you level up. It's a very simple and effective system that I found was not very annoying or daunting like most other cozy games. Gardening, mining, nor fishing require any stamina at all, which is very refreshing. The game has a diving mechanic where you can get to explore the vast underwater world and discover so many mysteries. You won't have access to this right away, so you will have to level up friendships and complete quests to gain access to your snorkel, which will then allow you to dive into the ocean. There's also options to help you stay underwater longer, such as stamina upgrades and obtaining the mermaid outfit, which then turns you into a mermaid and substantially slows down the stamina usage, which is absolutely amazing. The best part is that you won't have to wait too long to find the mermaid gear. You will be able to get it pretty easily and begin your underwater journey early on. Now let's address the one that we all want to know about, fishing. I'm happy to report that fishing in this game is actually very easy and not nearly as daunting as most cozy games I've experienced. I personally enjoy it and have no problems with it whatsoever. There's a little meter feature that you have to keep the arrow in the middle, but it's not bouncy and difficult to maintain. It's smooth, easy, and stress-free in my opinion. Then we have mining. Mining in this game is actually not quite like other cozy games. You aren't tasked with going into the mines with different levels with the idea that you have to find access to the next level, nor do you have to run around hitting a million rocks to get your ores. Instead, you go on this little roller coaster ride that allows you to collect a specific kind of ore simply by clicking when you get close to it. No actual mining necessary for that. So why do we need a pickaxe, you might ask? There are various boulders around that will give you access to some chests, and there are various quests that require you to break up some boulders with your pickaxe. So yes, there is a purpose for it. Considering how much there is to do in this game, I'm relieved to see we won't need to be running around smashing rocks all day looking for ores. Iron is also simply laying around for you to pick up rather than needing to hit rocks to find. It's extremely easy and not time consuming at all. When it comes to crafting, you're not able to craft your own crafting tables at the beginning to put around anywhere you want. There are specific crafting tables that will be in fixed locations that you'll need to fast travel to around the map. But don't worry, there's more than one location. As you progress later in the game, you will be able to craft your own to put in your cabin. Once you do access to crafting table, you'll be able to craft tons of resources that you'll need to progress quests and tasks. It's pretty simple and straightforward. The same concept applies to cooking. You'll have specific stations all around the island, such as Hello Kitty's oven espresso machines, ice cream maker, and more that will allow you to make various meals and drinks, and then you'll also be able to use these items for gifting for NPCs or decorating. And just like the crafting table, you will be able to craft your own stations to use in your own cabins much later on. Now, early on, you'll get access to your net, which will be used to run around catching critters around the island, which will be used to turn into the nature preserve, which is the equivalent to your museum. You can also use the critters for gifting and decorating. Pretty simple and straightforward. Now, of course, we have our friendship building and questing. Each NPC will require 3 gifts per day, which allows you to raise your friendship levels, earning you certain rewards and access to new quests that will help you progress in your game. Friendship building is at the core of this game and is 100% a must. If friendship building is not something you look forward to in a cozy game, then this game is not the game for you. A lot of NPCs are tied in with one another when it comes to their quests, so you won't be able to grind out leveling with one character and ignore another one. I found it's all pretty well balanced, making you get to know every character nicely. While you are capped at only giving 3 gifts per day per character, there are items in the game that you will earn as rewards or by buying in the Deluxe edition that will allow you to reset the counter basically and gift them again during the same day. You also have a flower bouquet item that lets you reset all the spawnable resources for the day. Now, the game works on both real-life time and in-game day and night cycles. The actual gameplay functions with a day and night cycle, allowing you to play and do things all day. However, gifting and resource spawns work only on a 24-hour real-life cycle. You also never need to sleep to recover, but you can sleep to change the time of the in-game day. So once you've hit your cap with gifting and all resources have been gathered for the day, you can continue doing minimal tasks like fishing and decorating your home and visitor cabins, which leads me into our next mechanic, decorating. You currently have the opportunity to do interior decorating. Everything on the island is already laid out in a specific fixed way, so you won't be able to decorate outdoors, but that doesn't mean you won't have plenty of opportunities to decorate. You have your main home known as a cabin, which is one spacious room you can customize. Additionally, you then have multiple visitor cabins all throughout the world that will act as cabins for NPC visitors and multiplayer friends. As you progress your friendship level with My Melody, she'll give you access to the visitor app and opportunities to check out when NPC visitors will be traveling to your island. Kind of like your campsite villager in Animal Crossing, but instead of having a generic campsite, each visiting NPC will require that you prep a visitor cabin for them with a few specifications, which allows you to let them come and visit you. You will have a chance to ask these visitors to permanently move into the island as your friendship rating grows with them the more they visit. Now, according to the wiki, there are 48 available NPCs that you'll be able to have come visit and become residents eventually. And some of these visitors will give you access to some pretty amazing features later on in the game, so they won't be mindless characters hanging out doing nothing. Rather, they will serve a purpose later on, which I find to be amazing and something to really look forward to. Now, you may also be asking, where will all of these visitors live? There aren't nearly as many visitor cabins available on the island. You will have the ability to upgrade each visitor cabin, essentially turning them into apartment buildings, allowing for more residents in one cabin. You can have a total of 6 in one apartment. All these cabin upgrades then give you the opportunity to decorate tons of cabins so long as you continue getting more furniture and decor items. Think of this kind of like the Animal Crossing DLC Happy Home Paradise, but without the exterior decorating. It is all interior. Now, if you want to take a break from friendship building and resource gathering, you do also have the opportunity to discover areas around the island that gives you access to some pretty fun puzzles that all range in different difficulty levels, but aren't extremely difficult. I found these to be very light and enjoyable, giving a good balance between all of the different features and mechanics in the game. There's always something for you to do on your island. There are also tons of limited time events that spread out throughout the year, bringing in even more amazing goodies. And lastly, let's touch on the gardening mechanic. This is not the typical farming mechanic. It's actually all about flowers and flower breeding. And let me tell you, flower breeding in this game is massive, as you can crossbreed flowers not only for custom colors, but custom patterns and designs that you can eventually use as ingredients to craft clothing and decor items way later on. But don't worry, you won't have an island filled with a massive amount of flowers overgrowing everywhere like Animal Crossing. You will have specific flower patches that you'll be able to plant on in every region, allowing you to work on all of your flowers. Now, the mechanic is far more massive than I could have ever imagined, but fear not, you really don't have to go so in depth into it if you don't want to. But knowing the completionist in me, I will be going down that flower rabbit hole and unlocking every single possible flower combination eventually. It's far more intense than Fae Farm flower breeding, which if you know me, you know I was kind of obsessed with. As you can see, there's tons of gameplay mechanics in this game that will keep you busy and entertained. There's far more involved than you realize early on in the game, so rest assured you'll be pleasantly surprised with all sorts of new discoveries throughout your adventure. You'll hear a lot of others say that this game is extremely grindy and full of fetch quests, but I feel like that's an exaggeration in my opinion. Yes, there is a grind as in most cozy games. Yes, there are fetch quests, but there are other quests involved as well. From what I've experienced, it doesn't feel extremely fetchy, if that makes sense. While quests do ask you to collect certain things and do other things, I tend to constantly get sidetracked with all other things that are available to do, kind of making my brain forget or neutralize the fact that there are fetch quests. In other words, while you are doing fetch quests a lot of the time, it doesn't feel like fetch quests, if that makes any sense. Now, with all of this being said and done, let's see how the game fares on the Jade scale and give it its final Jade score. Kicking things off in the visuals category, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. The entire game screams cozy cute and beyond aesthetically pleasing. However, there are several aspects that can be a little disappointing. There are various times I've encountered minor clipping issues with characters or objects crashing into each other, as well as the varied awkward angles that have prompted some minor motion sickness and headaches for me. However, there were no flashing lights present nor extreme camera shaking movements at any time that would be a cause for concern, making it an overall extremely visually appealing game. The performance category can vary depending on which platform you're playing on, but since everything in this review is based on PC, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. It's an extremely lightweight game that runs extremely well and can run on most fairly new PCs. Moving into the sound category, I'm giving it another solid 9 out of 10. The music was perfectly selected for each region and transitions nicely as you wander around. The sound effects can be a bit aggressive at times, but can be lowered in the settings if they get to be too much at times. The features category gets a 7.5 out of 10 for me. There are a few minor improvements that I feel can be made to this category, like the inclusion of multiplayer friend lists and more accessibility options, but overall has a good range of features. As for the gameplay mechanics, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. I'm loving the amount of different mechanics we're given and how they balance well with each other without making them feel exhausting or daunting. Overall, it has a great amount of gameplay mechanics. The story category lands a 7.5 out of 10 for me. While the story is cute and mysterious, it can get a little repetitive from time to time since the characters don't have a varied pool of dialogue, but the main storyline makes up for that in my opinion. It's a great narrative for the younger audience as well. Originality is landing an 8 out of 10. While we do have a lot of very similar mechanics and gameplay here that are present in other cozy games like this, I do find that they have found a way to make it a lot more refreshing by switching up how these mechanics work, like mining and the multiplayer leveling. The fun factor is earning an 8.5 out of 10. The amount of activities to do in this game has surprisingly made this game beyond fun to log into every day and play. With over 30 hours already invested in my game, I have yet to get bored and I have found myself to be beyond excited to jump in and do even more every day. There are tons of collections to complete and achievements to earn to keep everything entertaining. Now, without a doubt, this game is extremely cozy, fetch quests and all, landing a solid 9 in the cozy level category. It provides the perfect dose of dopamine my brain needs to feel extremely happy, comfy, and cozy while playing. There's no combat or stress-related mechanics, making it even better for a chill, cozy day lounging on the couch. As for replayability, I'm gonna have to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Aside from the fact that there are tons of achievements and collections to complete, giving you the chance to come back to keep playing, I find that this type of game doesn't work well to continue restarting and playing in different ways. No matter what playthrough you're on, you'll always be working towards the same goal, and leveling structure moving along with the story. You can, however, come back in to change all of your decorated cabins, but since the exterior is all fixed decor, you won't have very different playthroughs each time. I've seen some contradicting information about how many hours of content this game provides, ranging from 20 to 80 hours of content, which is extremely vague, but I can tell you that with 33 hours to be exact in my current game, I have yet to scratch the surface on everything, so I would lean more towards 80 to 90 hours of content. This could vary from player to player depending on your specific playstyle and whether or not you've utilized the Deluxe Edition resources to reset gifting amounts with characters. Alright y'all, that brings us to the moment of truth. The Jade Score for Hello Kitty Island Adventure is 82 out of 100. I was extremely skeptical going into this game considering it started out as a mobile game, as I'm not one to really like mobile games since they're riddled with microtransactions. This game, however, has 0 microtransactions and never will according to the devs. It's been a long time since a game has made me this happy to play, and you know I play a lot of games. I can 100% tell you that this game will continue being part of my stream rotation. But before we wrap things up here for today, I do want to touch on a few other things that are in question or you may not know about this game that you really should know. One of my number one questions I'm asked is whether or not the Deluxe Edition is worth buying. The game is currently offered at $39.99 US for the base game and $59.99 for the Deluxe Edition. The Deluxe Edition comes with over 300 unique items and rewards from past events from 2023 through 2024. While the game description states that these rewards are upfront and there's no need to wait, technically, they really aren't upfront. On the contrary, they're sort of drip-fed to you in the form of 3 different deluxe quests. The first one is the starter deluxe egg that you do get up front at the beginning of the game that gives you a pretty substantial amount of resources that helps you reset friend gifting and island resources, among other things. The next 2 quests are locked until you further progress your friendship levels with several characters, but are not very hard to obtain. These include all the previous event items like furniture and clothing, as well as a good amount of crafting materials. You're not thrown everything all at once up front, so do expect to do some legwork before you can unlock all the deluxe items. So the wording in the game description is a little deceiving. I personally did purchase the Deluxe Edition with my own money, and I was not gifted a key from the developers. Since I know myself and prefer a faster gameplay style, I preferred the Deluxe Edition and I don't regret it. I also wanted all the decor and clothing items from past events now so that I can get a head start decorating and looking cute, but these events will apparently come back, giving you opportunities to get the items. I only base whether or not I think a game is worth it based on how many hours I've played and if you've enjoyed it. So if you put in, let's say 10 hours and never touched it again, then maybe this isn't worth the value for you. But if you're putting 40 plus hours into this, it's definitely worth it. It's all up to you and how long you're playing it and if you're enjoying it. My clear-cut answer on this question, if I can only say yes or no, yeah, it's worth it to me. But you can totally pick it up on a sale later on if you feel it's still too much for you. Also, if you want to try it out on Apple Arcade first, there is a 1-month free trial that I've been seeing going around, and I think there's also a 3-month free trial that you can try out just to see if you really do enjoy the game. Speaking of Apple Arcade, here's what they're not telling you up front when it comes to what you're getting on PC and Switch versus Apple Arcade. Yes, all 3 platforms have the same game and content. However, Apple Arcade has 1 more region that is not available to PC and Switch at this time. On PC and Switch, you'll have access to 8 regions to explore. Apple Arcade has a 9th region called City Town that is currently being developed and only being pushed to Apple Arcade for testing and updating before it can be ported to Switch and PC. It was part of the 2.0 update that dropped in September of 2024 to Apple Arcade, but has no release date scheduled for PC and Switch. So if you do want to try out that content, you will have to play it on Apple Arcade. Aside from that new region, City Town, everything else is the same. And that's it, y'all. That's my entire honest deep dive review of Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I would love to know your thoughts and if you're enjoying this game or if you've decided to pass up on it. Let me know in the comments below who who are your favorite characters and what has been your favorite thing to do in the game so far. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell to get notified of all of my future cozy gaming content. And did you also know that I have a second art channel called Jade Creates? Head on over and drop a sub over there to get all cozy creative. The link is in the description below. I look forward to seeing y'all in my next live streams as we play Hello Kitty Island Adventure. And until the next time, happy gaming. Bye.